Mawaira e taurimate Marae wahonei Mawaira e taurimate.
I think it's important because the world is being ripped apart. This community has been ripped apart for a long time by all the divisions. There's a myth in this area about the three cultures, regardless of how we talk about them as being three cultures that get along.
Here in Taos, we're divided. We don't know each other, we don't speak to each other, there's anger in between us.
You need to start locally. We need to take care of our community. Here's a community with great arts, with historical, cultural resources, great natural beauty, and three cultures that live in harmony with each other. There's some truth to that, and there's a lot of untruth to that as well.
Most people that come to visit here only see the surface, but when you live here, you start to feel, the history of the intergenerational trauma that still exists and tends to rear its head through our youth using drugs, the violence, the gangs.
And I think the lack of being willing to face it squarely and really try to find out what are these issues, what is going on? Can we talk openly about what these divisions are, is one of the things that keeps people pretty much in the segregated communities they find themselves in.
We were told to come. We were told to come many years ago. But what brought us here was the ancestors of this land.
I came to Taos because I knew that there was going to be some wonderful people here.
They requested that I do an opening blessing, and I agreed.
I think of the event as something beneficial for our community that's been suffering through a lot of trauma, a lot of change. I feel like it'll bring the community together. We can learn about the healers. We can learn more about who we are and how the healers can help us.
The healing ways have thousands of years of tradition behind them.
Fortunately, our elders kept those practices and kept those traditions. And so we have to take responsibility for keeping those traditions alive, passing them on to our children, and forgiving those people that caused us harm.
I think the space that is here right now is sacred space. And sacred space means something special to us. It's a place where people come in and they take off the masks and they come in and they be who they are because they feel safe. So I see that happening here.
We hold our land sacred. We've been told since time immemorial that we are the stewards of this land. My grandfather always used to tell us that it was our duty, and if we did take care and protect this little piece of land, then it would somehow reach out to the greater world.
What actually calls me here is to see people stand up in their power. And when you have Native individuals who don't always have the knowledge to be able to do that, it's important to me to bring it here. After working on a couple of the women today and noticing the difference in how they accepted their body, how they accepted their thinking about themselves, she started to go back to a time when she was empowered. Not because of something that I took away from her or some adjustment that I did on her body, but because she remembered it.
One of the real strengths of Taos is in its diversity, and it's an authentic diversity. And that diversity is something that everybody who comes here wants to be a part of and doesn't necessarily know how to become a part of. But if we can bring everybody in and make that diversity really accessible and available, understandable, I think it would go a long way to bringing folks together.
I'm here to just support this lovely community that I adore. Despite all the richness that comes from our amazing diversity, we have a very painful history. What we're working toward is healing so we do not harm. I'm here in support of a conversation where we all are learning, and I just want to say thank you for being on this voyage together.
I realize that I'm a white, educated male from a privileged background, and I don't have to fear walking down the street. I don't have to fear people making judgments about me.
These are the benefits I've gotten from the color of my skin. I have civil liberties that are not questioned. My vote is not denied. I am respected by the police if they show up at the front door. They don't shoot me.
I left college and I was drafted into the Army, where my privilege was that I was educated, and as a draftee I managed to get through Vietnam as a clerk instead of a soldier in the field.
But I didn't get it when it was going on. I was just on that track. But I realized more and more the older I got that it was privilege.
It's so much a part of my life that I don't feel it, and I understand people do, and I want to know more.
I don't know how to change that, but I'm here because I want my life to be useful in that area. Each one person that takes a few steps in the right direction is working on something very important.
My vision is that at some point it's all going to culminate in the establishment and the creation of healing systems that are indigenous and culturally specific to the groups that are in conflict in this community.
I would like to see Taos in 4 years with a healing process. That we have ways to reconciliate with each other. That we have ways to cope with our own trauma.
Even though there is so much violence and so much sadness and so much pain in other parts of the world, there are parts of the world like here where the work is starting to happen.
There's children that are coming behind us, generations to come, and it's my hope and my prayer that somehow we come to a point in our lives where we've healed ourselves and recognize that, you know, life is precious. Human beings are precious. All living things are precious.
If we give a level of food, and when I'm talking about food, I'm not talking about something we eat to feed ourselves. I'm talking about the food that is spiritual. Then that is food enough to grow a community that will know how to live together, to work together, to walk together.
It's going to require a lot of people to go through pain, because the paradox of healing is that you have to go through pain to get to the other side.
So if we are moving into a community in 4 years' time where they all start to stand up with that ability to remember they are here to do service for something greater than themselves, then the basic seeds that we're starting to throw out there now will be well worth the watering we give them over the next 4 years.